Hello, welcome to this week's Midweek message. I'm Freda Pitfield and I'm a lay worship leader. The biblical person who is highlighted this week in the Diocesan Leadership for Lent course is Naaman's servant. Not a prophet, not a king, not a successful leader of an army, but a young servant girl who is given no name in the story. Naaman was commander of the army of the king of Aram, and the king had great admiration for him. He was a mighty warrior. Now the king of Aram had instructed Naaman to invade Israel, and the army had brought back from Aram many slaves, and among them a young girl who became the maid of Naaman's wife. Naaman suffered from leprosy and there was no cure. However, the maid felt compassion for him and said to her mistress, "I wish my master would go to see the prophet in Samaria. He would heal him of his leprosy." So Naaman went to see his king, who immediately gave him permission to go and visit the prophet. He even sent a letter of introduction for Naaman to take to the king of Israel. And Naaman set out, taking with him gifts of 750 pounds of silver, 150 pounds of gold, and 10 sets of clothing. And the letter to the king of Israel said, "With this letter I present my servant Naaman. I want you to heal him of his leprosy." Well, the king tore his clothes in dismay, wondering how on earth he was going to heal this man of leprosy. And if he couldn't do that, what might be the consequences? So he says, "Am I God that I can give life and take it away? I can see he's just trying to pick a fight with me." Elisha the prophet hears of this and he sends a message to the king of Israel asking, "Why are you so upset? Send Naaman to me, and he will learn that there is a true prophet here in Israel." In due course, Naaman and his servants arrive at the door of Elisha's house. But Elisha did not go to meet him. Instead, he sent a messenger who told Naaman to go and wash yourself 7 times in the river Jordan. Then your skin will be restored, and you will be healed of your leprosy. Well, Naaman became angry and walked away, upset that Elisha had not come to meet and talk with him. Naaman thought Elisha would at least have waved his hand over the leprosy and called on the name of the Lord his God to heal him. He continues in disappointment and frustration. Are not the rivers of Damascus, the Abana and the Pharpar, better than any of the rivers in Israel? Why shouldn't I wash in any of them and be healed? So Naaman turned and went away in a rage. But his officers tried to reason with him and said, "Sir, if the prophet had told you to do something very difficult, wouldn't you have done it? So you should certainly obey him when he says simply, 'Go and wash and be cured.'" So Naaman went down to the Jordan River, and he dipped himself 7 times, as Elisha had instructed him. And his skin became as healthy as the skin of a young child, and he was healed. Naaman went back to find Elisha, and he said to Elisha, "Now I know there is no God in the world except in Israel. So please accept a gift from your servant." But Elisha refused, and he sent Naaman home with a blessing of peace. Such truths are timeless, and there are many stories of people against whom a wrong has been done and who are then asked to forgive. and at times it can be very hard to forgive. And how easy is it for a person wronged, such as Naaman's servant girl, to find it within themselves to offer compassion to the one who did wrong against them? I'll tell you a story of the two young boys who were the best of friends. One day they were walking along together when they had an argument, and one boy slapped the other boy. The other boy was emotionally hurt by this, but he didn't retaliate. He simply bent down and wrote in the sand what his friend had done. "Today, my best friend slapped me in the face." And the two continued on their way. And later that day, the boy who had been hurt found he was sinking in quicksand, and his friend rushed to rescue him. The boy who had been rescued then went to find a rock, and he inscribed into it, "Today my best friend rescued me and saved my life." His friend was puzzled, and he asked him, "After I had hurt you, you wrote on sand. After I had saved you, you wrote on rock. Why was that?" And the injured boy replied, "When someone hurts us, we must write it down in sand where winds of forgiveness can blow it away. When someone does something good for us, we must write it in stone where no wind can ever blow it away." The servant girl feels no resentment against Naaman for taking her away from her family, her country, her known world. Instead, she feels compassion for someone so afflicted with leprosy, a disease so feared by everybody. She had every reason to say nothing. She was young, alone without the support of her family. She may even have thought Naaman would simply dismiss her suggestion out of hand. And yet she had the courage to speak to her mistress, Naaman's wife, of the faith that she had in the prophet Elisha, prophet of the God she knew in Israel. She did not fear Naaman's possibly strong defence of the gods of Aram. This is a story of faith, compassion, forgiveness in the heart of the servant girl. It is too a story of goodness, kindness, cooperation, forgiveness within the hearts of every single person, from servants to masters to kings, and among people of two different nations, often at war. And all came to believe in a prophet and in the power of a different God from their own. The two boys who fell out also knew how important are our friends, our families. They are to be cherished. They are far more important than our pride. The story began with a humble and compassionate servant girl taking a courageous lead that led to a wonderful trail of acts of goodness in others. It is truly inspiring. May God bless you in all you do, not just today, but always. Amen.